You have big dreams, you know exactly what you want, but yet you still feel hesitant and stuck. You say you'll start tomorrow, but tomorrow never comes. You want to become a content creator, writing a book, going to the gym and have your fit body, but the thought of putting in the effort and hours just feels too hard. Without even realizing, you start distracting yourself, scrolling, but deep down you feel like you're wasting your potential. However, what if I tell you you're not lazy? You're just operating in ways that keep you stuck and not accomplishing anything in life as a consequence. Well, in this video, I'm going to explain to you exactly why you're ambitious but lazy, and I'm going to share some valuable mindset shifts and actions that you can implement in order to become disciplined and actually make your ambitious dreams a reality. First, why are you ambitious but lazy? Because I get you, I was in your exact same place. I was inconsistent with going to the gym, posting content, and I wish that someone could tell me all these things that I'm going to share. Trust me, those are not some generic advice that you hear anywhere that don't actually work, like just visualize, do affirmations, and your dreams are going to come to you. Nuh-uh. Though these can help a little, but they are only 10% of the equation. The reason why you just cannot seem to start and commit to your goals, it's actually not what you think. In fact, it's a more mindset and execution thing. The thing is that you're not lazy by nature and you're never going to accomplish anything in life. But in reality, you're just thinking and executing in a way that is secretly sabotaging you and preventing you from actually accomplishing your big dreams. And I was also indulging into this behavior too, which is thinking that you need to plan first in order to start. You just plan and say that you're going to start going to the gym, creating content, and start investing tomorrow. You repeat this sentence every single day for months and even years. That's why you never accomplish the big goals that you set on your vision board, and as a consequence, every single year you're trying to achieve the same identical goal that you had 2 years ago. And trust me, I was the same. I had that dream of becoming a successful YouTuber, having 100,000 subscribers for 3 years now, and only this year I started to stop sabotaging myself and start to actually put in the work and stop being inconsistent and just shallow. The reason why you plan before you even start is because you want to feel ready. Planning feels productive. That's how I call it, planning disguised as ambition. Every time you take notes, read books about how to become confident, on how to create your first video, on how to write a book, you feel like you are moving forward, being productive, and doing the essential things in order to achieve that specific goal. Although, yeah, planning is important, like strategizing your content, your niche, your target audience if you're trying to become a content creator, or knowing what type of sport, gym you need to do in order to lose the weight that you want. But this needs to last for a few days. You just need to plan for a few days and then execute immediately. And one way you can know that you're sabotaging yourself is looking at how much time you've been planning instead of executing. Because the harsh truth is that the amount of time you execute and take action onto something should be larger than the amount of time that you put on planning, strategizing. That's how you make progress. If you never post your first video, then how are you going to put in the views and create a positive impact onto other people's lives? If you never at least summarize what your book is going to be about, then how are you going to even publish one in the first place? So now you know that you planning is not you being productive, but it is you just postponing starting the goal in the first place. So here's the mindset shift that you need to rewire your brain for in order to stop planning and start executing, which is stop wanting to be perfect in order to start. Let go of that need to know everything before you even start posting a video, going to the gym, publishing a book. Because the more you are perfectionist about something, the more likely you're going to procrastinate, because you now feel too overwhelmed by the high expectations that you have about yourself, about how much amount of research you need to do in order to master that goal. And plus, the more you plan, the more you gain knowledge before executing, the more you're going to hesitate to start that thing in the first place, because now you need to implement all of this knowledge and you're like, I need to implement all this like list of 50 pages of research that I made about how to make a video perfectly in my first video. That's a lot of pressure. And I fell into this trap too. Like 6 months ago, I was planning for 2 entire weeks watching video after video about how to grow on YouTube. And I started to feel a bit overwhelmed by the amount of notes and pages that I had. And I almost quit. And I'm not even kidding. I just fell into this rock bottom, thinking that this is too hard. And that's the paradox. The more you plan, the more you're going to more likely give up on your big dreams. That's the worst part that I don't want you to fall into. I realized this thing that blew my mind about the reason why we tend to be so perfectionist and tend to plan so much in the first place before even starting is because we fear failure. That's why we want to get it right the first time. We don't want to see our video flop. That's why we are doing everything we can, gain all the knowledge that we can in order to blow up in our first video. We want to plan the perfect diet so we know that we're going to lose weight in the easiest and fastest way. But let me tell you, no matter how perfectly you plan on how to achieve that goal, you are going to fail inevitably. No one gets it right on their first trial. Yeah, there are some rare cases where people post their first video and blow up immediately, but that's like 0.00001% of the people. For the average person, we need to fail in order to learn the lessons so we can improve the next time. And that's the thing that shocked me the most. When I started to value execution over planning and overthinking and being a perfectionist, the more I started to learn valuable lessons that I never learned before, that I never knew I needed. And second of all, failing is going to make you learn faster than theory. How many times did you find yourself to make a mistake and you just thought to yourself, oh, I knew that this was a bad thing to do, but why I did it in the first place? Why am I learning things in the hard way? Well, this is the reality for most people. No matter how many notes and theory you learn, your brain is never going to learn it fully. It's going to learn the most from failure. For example, you know that people pleasing is bad, but you keep doing it until you reach a tipping point where you feel exhausted and drained by constantly performing. That's how you learn the thing in the hard way and stop being a people pleaser. We already know most things in life, but we never execute on them until we are going to fail and hit the rock bottom, until we're going to see the consequences of it, because now you have lived it in first person, how it's like to fail, how it's like to be a people pleaser, and how bad it feels. And now your brain wants to avoid it at all costs. And if you want to stop people pleasing, I'm going to link in the description and here a video that I made that is going to help you to build a self-worth so strong that you stop seeking external validation to feel enough. And one last thing that is going to blow your mind is knowing that you are going to fail anyway and you're going to learn the hard thing you already knew by reading all these books about confidence. So for example, take me as an example. I knew that I needed to become more specific and catchy in the titles that I make in my videos, and I wrote it on my notes. But then I found myself learning this in the hard way because I was still making generic titles even though I knew that I needed to be more specific. Bruh. So that's the thing about failure. It makes you realize how important it is, the theory that you just learned. Because sometimes we take for granted some things that we learn in theory, and that's why we fail in the first place once we take the action. Failure is part of success, and there are people who are less qualified than you, less intelligent than you, that are taking all these opportunities, that are getting your dreams. All these people that you look up to, they are not more talented than you. They have not planned the perfect strategy. They had enough audacity and self-trust to start even though they were not perfect in the first place. The earlier you start, the earlier you're going to fail, and the earlier you're going to learn the lessons that are going to make you succeed even faster. That's the secret. Success comes from your willingness to suck and fail in the first place, and even fail in public, embarrassing yourself and look cringe until you're going to succeed and no one's going to tell you shit. So here are the actions that I want you to implement right now. So the first is obviously start now. Schedule your goal for whenever you have a free time and just start. Second action is to build routines that are sustainable, that are not going to burn yourself out. So let's say you want to dedicate on that specific project, hobby, big dream every Sunday, let's say. So if you want to do it in the morning, then you need to write down the exact minute and hour, for example at 9 a.m. and you're going to start that goal. Third action, the most important one, which is do things that make you uncomfortable. The reason why you've been planning much more than executing is because you haven't built enough tolerance for discomfort. Because failing sucks. Doing the thing over and over again without even receiving the results immediately sucks. Going to the gym even though you don't feel like it sucks. So the more you expert yourself in doing all these hard things that require effort and not listening to your feelings, not waiting for motivation, all these things are going to increase your tolerance for discomfort. Now all of a sudden, taking action is not going to feel so hard anymore because it's going to feel more familiar. So yeah, I believe in you. We are in this together. Let's support each other. Please subscribe and see you in the next one.